Hmm. Well, just got back. It was a Friday night meeting. It was pretty full. A couple newcomers. You know, there are some people that feel like it is their job or their responsibility to um, sell recovery, sell the program, sell the book, sell the line, sell the dogma. Just sell it, sell it, sell it. Promise, promise, promise. You know, these grand gestures, grand overtures, based on their own experience. That is how they feel. And they think that that is going to help. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it won't. I can't say who needs to hear what. What is going to help any individual? I don't know any better. But I just shared from my own perspective, and it's not a happy one. It is it's kind of cold. It's just kind of, this is how it is. Um, you can work on yourself, work on your problems, like facing reality, not running from it, not living in fear of it, dealing with things, little things, just little, keeping it manageable, you know, not letting it all pile up and then it gets overwhelming and then people tend to break down and fall apart and, then therefore must pick up their drug of choice or go back out or pick up a different drug of choice or, escape reality. It just gets to be too much. I don't know. But people get so comfortable in their own life that I mean, for including myself, forget how impressionable the newcomer is. Whether they're, 20 years old or 50 years old or even 80 years old. Um, Barbara was 83 when she began recovery. 83 years old, getting sober. My gosh. And she's helped me a lot. And she tells me that I've helped her a lot too. I tend to believe her. So it's never too late for new beginnings. That's the main thing, I guess. But this guy, my gosh, he wasn't the only one, but he was the one that, we're so lucky that he chose us as his form of recovery. We shall see. But no, well, if we see him again, it's a show. Uh, it's a performance. It's an act. If there's any substance behind it, he'll come back. Let him come back. Nothing to stop him. Let him come back. Come back. Come back. He'll find what he's looking for. He'll get what he's looking for. And if it's a better life, he will find it. But if he's just looking to look good or to demonstrate that he can for whatever other thing that he's got going on, it's like looking good for his wife or or for his kids or his family. That, yeah, I'm taking, I went to. It's not like I mentioned. It's not a game. It's not a competition. It's not something you win. Um, I, but the cheerleading squad was in there in force, and you know, maybe that's what he needed to hear. I don't know. That rally of people like, yeah, yeah, towing the company line, you know, preaching, preaching, pandering, patronizing, I don't know. I only am responsible for my own perspective, and I just don't like it. And it's like, you know, it's a little bit of ego, a little bit of pride. It's like other people share, and then other people like comment on the previous person. It's like, oh yeah, I agree with you. And it happens. But it's like I'll share and I'll do my thing, and the next person shares. Well, anyway, and it's like, what did I say? I thought it sounded pretty good as I was saying it. It made sense to me, but maybe it didn't make sense. Of course, a lot of times I'm not speaking directly on topic. It's after the topic. It's like mixed in and like it has led to this and that led to that and this, and then it comes back, and it's involved. There's layers, and yeah. So maybe it looks like I'm not talking about the topic, but I could describe it. It's like if I had, but of course I don't remember what I said after I'm done. So it's like I just know that it was the right words at the time. And now that I've said them, I don't need to remember them. So as I'm saying them, they're leaving my mind. There is no record. And people, it used to be that sometimes people would come up to me and like say, "Oh, well, you shared some good," but I think that was because I was more sharing what other people wanted to hear. I got very good at saying what I thought other people wanted me to say. And now I don't do that. I say what I need to say for myself. I don't say what I think anybody else needs to hear. These are the words that I need to hear myself say. So and I only figure that that's what I should be doing because it's what's working. And I think this is a program of my recovery. I'm not working somebody else's recovery. Yeah. And it's like I'm not living a life of somebody else's understanding. I'm living a life of my understanding. I don't need to justify it, make it digestible. I don't think that's the right word. But it doesn't have to make sense. If it makes sense to me, call it good. Tell me I'm wrong. No one can. No one tries. People used to try to insist that I was doing things wrong because I wasn't doing it the way they thought it had to be done. But now I just kind of get left alone. Like, yeah. And that's good. So, no argument there. Please. Yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll be doing what I'm doing. And if you can get anything that's helpful out of what I happen to be doing, great. But what I'm doing is not conditional or contingent on what you're doing. What you're doing is good, and I might get something out of it. I like knowing that other people are there doing their thing in their way, in their understanding. I like that. I find some sense of continuity and satisfaction in other people finding their own way to live their life in their understanding for themselves, no matter how that pans out or takes shape, that it's working, that they found a way, to get over themselves or live a better life, or get something better than what they had before in addiction. Anything. And but for me, it just takes a different shape. I don't know what it is, but apparently I do things differently because I just it just all, I guess, it has to, come back to being autistic. It's like, because people might ask, well, I just don't have the same stories. I really just don't. I mean, my lack of stories is my story. I chose to, drink alone. I didn't want to socialize. I needed to feel okay about not socializing because apparently it was wrong, or we're supposed to socialize. And it's like, no, I'd rather just, okay. I found, and it's like I found it easier and less complicated to just drink by myself, and I could do whatever I wanted and didn't have to, pay attention or be social or think about how to talk or think about how to, read social cues, or interact with other people. So, and so tonight after the meeting, I just, there was enough people there. There was over about 30 people, so I was successfully able to wander off, and so that was good. And my sponsee, you know, he's still doing it. I think he was just more curious about the sponsor thing. I don't think he actually wanted a sponsor, and that's good. For me. I don't know if it's good for him, but I can't do it for him. If he calls, then I'll talk to him, of course. But I can't call me for him. He has to call me for himself. And so it's like I can't talk to me for him, and I can't ask me all his questions that he needs to ask me to get my interpretation of how I do things and how it might help him. So, yeah, I can't sponsor him for him what I said. He has to be the sponsee. He has to take, he has to, do things. But anyway, I made myself available. I said yes. That's the important thing. So I fulfilled my end of the bargain as far as I'm concerned, as far as being available, being accessible, and I'm very glad that he is. But according to him, he's got, over 18 months. So, and he wears it too. You can tell so he has a good sense on him. So he knows that, who knows. So it's nice to be asked, though, I guess. Weird. It's also be nice to be left alone. Because you want to talk and take time. And I generally I don't like a lot of people. They themselves, they think they're extremely likable. And people should want to hang out with them and want to talk to them and want to hear their stories and be interested in their lives and their history and the places they've been and the things they've done and their drinking stories, their drug stories, their medical stories, their, criminal stories. I just don't care so much, I find. Maybe that's wrong of me. For most people. There are some that I genuinely take interest in, and they're the people that aren't trying to impress me. The people that are just being themselves. They're not trying to be something else other than what they are. It's like, I don't know if I pick up on that or not, but I take an interest in people that aren't trying so hard, that they are just kind of relaxed, and they're not all about putting out that self-image, and it's like desperate for attention, desperate for validation, and just, you know. So I don't know if I want to call them, I don't call them friends. They're associates. That's not the right word. Allies? No, that's not the right word either. I don't really call people friends, really. I have people that I count on for being themselves, that I believe in, that when I talk to them that they're going to be the same person, um, generally speaking, that I encountered the previous time. So I have some reliance on some people, and also that they don't want anything from me. Like they're not trying to get stuff. It's like it's not all about them. They're like genuinely interested in me and how I'm doing, and I'm genuinely interested in them and how they're doing. But if people just want to use me as a just as a body to like talk at and to make themselves feel good, it's like I just don't want to take the time for it, so I just leave. you know like I don't really want to hear all your stories about how great you think you are, and you're telling me how great you think you are and why I should think you're so great. And it's like, that's great. Can I go now? And it's like, and so I just go instead of getting through that whole, because everybody that comes in, they want to tell you, that's their job number, a lot of them, the ones that are willing to talk and have that, they want to tell you how great they are, so they know that how lucky we are to have them, and how they're going to do this thing because they got the wife or the kids or the family or the judge or this backlog of time that if they don't do this, then they're going to have to serve 5 to 10 years or something like that. They got the whole system behind them, like encouraging them to do better. Yet, so it's amazing when they got all this stuff that's encouraging them to, actually get this, or else, and yet they decide, they make the choice. It's surprising, how frequently people make that choice, that it's all too scary, it's all too much, I can't handle it, and then they just go, shoot up or drink, or that leads to drug use or drinking or accidents. It leads to death eventually, and they might hurt others on their way out, in a sense, and mostly they just hurt themselves in the end, mostly, but there's always the bystanders, the ones that get to watch, and the ones that maybe had gotten to know them, maybe gotten to care about them a little bit, and it's just a shame. How many faces come into that room? How many voices? How many people? And they have the same story. And each one of them, they think they're special. They think that, they think whatever they think. And I've just seen it enough. They come in and they talk a certain way and they act a certain way, and they come back for a certain amount of time and they make a certain amount of progress. You see the lights come on, the glimmers of hope, and then reality happens. Something changes in their life that they are not expecting, that they don't like, obviously, bad news of some kind, some disaster, calamity, catastrophe. And I don't know. The ones that make it through that initial, and hopefully it's a little one, and it can build, because life is going to happen. Problems are going to happen. It's either, we make it through those hurdles, the little hurdles, hopefully they're little hurdles at the beginning before, like, if you get a big hurdle, like right at the beginning, that's like, oh my gosh. So those people still do. I mean, the people that want it, those are the ones that are going to, that's the thing. It's like, if you want, it's like, so I only know my experience. I only know what it was like for me. And it's like, I decided early on that, it was like, this is what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm doing it. I don't know what it's going to be like. But, I didn't like my life, how it was. So anything different was okay. And it's like, well, this is the one that's being presented to me, so I'll see what happens. I just didn't want to go back to Wisconsin. And so I didn't. So, and I just haven't gone anywhere since. Which concerns me. And it concerns me that it concerns me. It's like, should I be concerned? Or should I just be okay with it? It's like, I have no calling elsewhere. I don't really like Indiana, though. I miss, I don't know, forests, mountains, things like that. Rivers. They got stuff here, too. But it's just, I don't know. Indiana's not my home. Of course, I don't really have a home. I guess West Virginia's mostly my home. But even that, it's all changed, of course. Change happens. When I'm not looking, change happens. Dang. So, anyway, in other news, I saw something that confuses me. And it's like, dang it. One of those situations. And it's like, I don't even know. What am I supposed to do? It's like, I don't even know what it means. And it's like, so I'll just leave it alone. And assume it's not for me. So that's what I do. Because every single time I've assumed that, or made the presumption that anything has anything to do with me, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It's me reading me into the situation. And it's like, I don't even exist. I'm not even anywhere remotely. It's just me placing myself. And it's because I'm interested. But because I think, let's see, this sort of thing happened probably back around July, maybe June of this past year, 2020, where I saw one of these things and I thought that I didn't know what it was about. So I actually texted the person about it. I was like, so how does this work? And they were like, oh, you weren't meant to see that. I was like, oh, good to know. And I went about the whole thing about pretending not to be, hurt. And it's like, because they invited me, oh, if you're interested, you should still, It's like, okay. But, so, I don't know. See how it goes. But, one way or the other, life has a way of happening. And it's like, I'm not in charge. And I just keep doing what I'm doing, and I keep learning what I'm learning. It's like, whatever I fail to learn, I'll keep being shown. That's a scary prospect, or a hopeful prospect. Because sometimes it's like, and that's the other thing too, is like, you know, people think they're teaching me things, but they don't know what I'm learning. You know, people have the thought in mind of what I'm supposed to be learning, but that might not be exactly what I am learning. You know, so you show me anything, and it's like I might be interpreting it different, um, and most likely I am interpreting everything differently than how it is the intent or direction or purpose or design behind whatever it is. I am going to interpret it um, a little different, you know, because I just have a lifetime of misinterpreting everything. And so it's like I feel bad about it, you know, having to have things explained to me because I don't get it. The simplest things I just don't get, and it's like, you know, I need things explained to me, what they mean. Step by step. And you know, it's one of those things. It's like admitting that, you know, getting to be okay with being autistic and needing that, you know, help and additional time. It's like people just assumed that I was smart, you know, and gave me all sorts of credit for knowing what I was doing when I was just pretending the whole time and too scared, or, you know, or I didn't even know that I didn't know. I thought I knew because everybody gave me credit for knowing, so I just assumed that I did know because everybody believed in me, so I believed in me, I guess. So I'm a lot less sure of myself, but a whole lot more confident. Or is it I'm a whole lot less confident in myself? I sure am sure of that. I don't know. Whichever, it doesn't matter. Just words. So I like things explicitly told to me sometimes, um, in writing, um, permission, um, being welcome. This is for you. This is about you. You are the audience. You know, because otherwise I won't know a lot of times. So I'll just be blissfully unaware or aloof, or I'll just figure, well, it's not about me. It's about somebody else. Lucky guy or lucky person, whoever that is that that's about. Hmm. Oh well, and then wander off. Because I just, good things, I don't know. I only know about what I know about. And rarely, um, I mean, I don't know what kind of things have just passed me by because I just assumed it was about somebody else. That I am not the audience. So how does a person like me get to be where I am in life? And, you know, it's like, well, and then also like be in sobriety for as long as I have, and it's like, you know, just still having in, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, sad or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, I haven't even been on a date once. It's not a point of pride. It's a point of like reality. And it's like, not anything real. I mean, group activities, I guess, which are stressful beyond all. But I don't know. I've wandered off the rails now, and I'm not comfortable. I am just highly uncomfortable. So, and it's over half an hour now, and I've talked enough. So, I don't know. January 29th. And so, once again, I face things that it's like, they're simple things. They should be simple. And I'm sure most people they get it and they understand and it makes sense to, and it's like, no, I don't. No. So it's like, what I'm about to not do or what I am about to do, it has nothing to do with, it's like, I don't mean to be mean, and it's not that I don't care. It's just, I have no idea. And it's like, if I knew, like, where the intent was behind it, and it's like, if, yes. The answer is yes. But I don't know what the question is. So, so we'll see. I figure I should stop trying to figure everything out. But if I don't ask questions, it's like sure, I might not like all the answers, obviously. But if I don't ask questions, then how will I ever know? Because people don't know what I don't know. They don't know what I struggle with. So if I don't talk, then it remains a mystery. And part of that's good, part of that's on purpose. But it is lonely. It does get lonely. There's a balance to it all. I just don't know what it is. It's like I like being alone, but it gets lonely. So I haven't figured it out. I'm still working on it. So anyway, I should go. So that's what I'm going to do. It was a nice evening.